Cocaine Cowboys, The Deadly Rise of Ireland's Drug Lords, the live show is on sale now. We're on the road on February 10th at the Lime Tree Theatre in Limerick, February 15th in Cork's Everyman Theatre, and on Sunday 18th, we're back at Dublin's 3 Olympia. April takes us to Galway's Town Hall Theatre, Killarney's INEC, and Belfast's Waterfront Studios. Check mcd.ie or venue for ticket sales. I hate when Siri comes on and you didn't expect him or her
to do it. How are you getting on with Siri? You recently learned how to use it.
Well, not bad.
Yeah.
He opens the gates for me when I ring them.
Oh, very good.
And what else do I do?
Remind me, tell me.
Oh, I have forgotten about how to do that reminder thing.
Yeah.
That was just when I was very busy there.
Yeah.
That happened.
For a few weeks, you were very busy, all right.
So anyway, we were very busy all year.
We were.
Yep. Absolutely.
It was a great year.
Great. Brilliant. Like, absolutely.
Crime World is here to stay, is it?
It is.
Hopefully.
It is.
We're all coming back in 2024.
Yes.
Yeah. Bigger and better and
bigger
more
and better
beautiful than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what were the big sort of highs and lows of the year gone by?
Well, I think the highs, like the Regency was a great way to do a podcast, wasn't it? Like it was it was the first time we were kind of doing reporting as well as analysis, I suppose. So just to go in and do it on a day-to-day basis. And I think we were helped that it was the special criminal court and there wasn't a jury. So you're given a bit more leeway to talk about things. But I think it was great. And, I know the just to be able to give people a sense of what was going on in a totally different way than you would get on the radio. Because obviously the radio reporters are there, but they're doing 3-minute packages. So I thought that was the highlight for me. And I know that the barristers were definitely listening to us. Yeah. I fully believe that they were going home and listening to us. But
we often had to come out of the court. It was freezing and lashing rain or whatever, and we'd stuff into the car and you couldn't have the heat on because it would be too noisy with the Zoom. Yeah. We were just recording on a Zoom and then sending you the stuff, and Ian or Jason.
They were the best ones that were done in the car, actually, rather than even coming back to the studio and doing them. So that was, because I think people, so that was the highlight for me, What about for yourselves?
Yeah, it was good. Well, we did Beast as well. So we did the No Long trial. You covered that.
Yes.
So that was was that your first kind of big trial proper?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was. And only an example of what was to come, because obviously I did the Ashling Murphy trial then at the end of the year. So it was a very interesting year, full of learning. Yeah. It's strange to say I had fun making the Beast podcast, but I did. It was great to do it. Really enjoyable to make.
Really good experience to cover court cases, I have to say. I think all journalists, be they into crime or not, should cover a court case at least. Yeah. And of course it's knackering because you're up early, you're trying to get physically there. Yeah. You get an hour in the middle of the day. People think barristers and judges don't work hard, but by God they do.
Oh my God. Yeah,
because it's so intense. You have to have your concentration on full and trying to keep notes and then as a journalist, you're coming out, and especially with the trials, the jury trials, even more difficult than the Regency that we did. You have to make sure you don't say anything that wasn't said in front of the jury. Yeah. Legal arguments or anything like that.
Yeah, and you got it as well. Like at the end of the court day, it's, 5:45, you're coming back here to do the podcast, get the podcast edited and up, and then by the end of the day I just would go home and be like, nobody speak to me. My brain has brained enough today.
Yeah, it is exhausting, the courts.
We did it, myself and Claude did a lot of the Ashling Murphy stuff, and there was something really, even just to read that every day and for you to be there and all, there was something really, really grim about that case. I thought that was, it's, we don't become desensitized. You do become a bit desensitized, like anybody who works in news. But there was something about that case, just the worst of human nature. Yeah. And there was something really sad about that, I thought.
Yeah, I think
so
as well.
So much life ahead of her. And
seeing the reaction of other people as well. I suppose that would play a part of it. While you might be a bit desensitized, you're not shocked by some of the stuff you hear, but I suppose observing the reaction of other people and how shocked and disgusted they are is quite something.
Yeah, because it's not to say you lose a sense of humanity, but there is that as well when you're covering crime, and we do let our personalities come out or whatever, but there was something about that case that you just feel like this is something that really shouldn't have happened. And even Puska's defense was a gross insult, I think, in a way, like, it was no hope of succeeding. It was, disrespectful, and it was, so that is the other aspect of the job,
Yeah, it was a real slap in the face to
everyone. There were 3 big trials we did, which was, I wonder what's coming up next year that we might, there's a few I'm interested in.
Well, there's then throughout all those trials, there's the Kinahan cartel story.
Yeah, all the gangland stuff,
if you look at that story, I might get our times wrong, but if you look at what we probably did an analysis of the year last year, all of the incredible stuff that comes out even in the last few months, Iran, Hezbollah, cryptocurrency,
Imperiale going state witness, like it is just such almost like a soap opera, and it's actually really good to document it all with the podcast, because that way at least it's all there. Do you know what I mean? Because
like if you looked a year in advance and said, we're going to have Hezbollah links, and we're going to have, this with the Americans and all that, you'd be going, We're
going to have Liam Byrne back behind bars. We're going to have so much. So how are we doing? People like Crime World, I think.
Yes, very exciting to say that by the end of this year, 2023, we will have amassed 16 million downloads.
Woo!
Which is quite a lot of people listeing.
Which means,
how many zeros is on that?
6.
And they're definitely not all my mother pressing repeat.
She's been a very busy woman this year.
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, that is extraordinary, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it just shows, I suppose, the popularity of crime, and maybe just people like to listen to it told in a not so regimented fashion.
It shows probably in a way that, not to get off the point, but the changing nature of journalism, and how people want to consume media, and for all of the impacts of the digital world on journalism that have been negative, it has brought an ability to tell stories in a different way, and people really do want to engage with it. You know what I mean?
And men and women?
Yes, men and women. We're getting a lot of people who watch us on YouTube as well, on their televisions, as like a sit down in the evening, and they put us on the television. We can see in the YouTube analytics where people are watching from, whether on their phone or what it might be. And there's a good percentage there of people who watch us on the telly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, the highest percentage in sort of men of a certain age, I think, is it? Like there's more men of a certain age watching us on TV.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
what certain age?
Well, like not in their teens.
Right. No, because they're on their phones. They don't sit in living rooms, teenagers.
No.
People
of a certain age, like my own age, end our day usually plonked on a couch in front of a television,
Yeah.
Okay.
Majority of our listeners are 35 to 44, male, 80% male.
80% male?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that just on YouTube? Or
this is just on YouTube.
Just
now.
on YouTube.
It's different on Spotify and Apple.
Absolutely. And the majority are watching the full length of the videos. The majority again are in Ireland. So I'd say a lot of people will fall into that category here watching us now.
That's interesting, yeah. And the YouTube thing, I mean, we do sort of talk a lot about these cameras that are over there. I did put my hair up before we started this because I was worried that it was very nesty looking or something, and you've both told me that it's no better.
No, it
looks better now that you redid it.
Yeah.
I think it's...
So what have been the most popular episodes? Is it all the Kinahan cartel?
Let's try and guess.
What do you think was your top episode of this year?
Is this on YouTube or in general?
This is in general, the overall, and it kind of ran away with the figures as well. There's a large gap between that and the second one.
Can I say?
Yes.
I think it was Jerry Hutch.
What one?
The one when he was when he walked free from the Regency trial.
What do you think?
Well, I know, because I mispronounced.
You can't say the same thing as me.
No, but I know I mispronounced the word, and people do say it to me. What was the word I mispronounced?
Wobble.
So I know that is definitely.
That's probably why it's got such
of
high
all
views.
my
but
good
yes.
work, that's what I'll.
Which one was that on?
Yes, that was the
that
first.
Was the Quabble episode.
Yeah, Jerry the Monk Coach walks free after Regency murder
But
trial.
he said the same thing as me. He wasn't allowed.
No, I thought I was going to say Larry Murphy. I still think the Larry Murphy.
So he said Larry Murphy, and I got it right. So
Larry Murphy on
1-0.
YouTube, but Nicola on podcast.
You get a half point for that. I get 1 full point.
Well, I'd say some of the other ones must be some of the younger gangland cases. Like I know there's a lot of interest in sort of the Mr. Flashy sort of episodes.
So are we going to go, what are you going to do now? Are you going to, the top 10 of you?
I have the top 10 on audio, yes.
And Jerry Hutch is number 1.
Jerry Hutch is number 1.
There you go.
And Larry Murphy?
Larry Murphy's not there in our audio, no. He's not one of the top 10.
Okay. So
2 other guesses.
We're not going to guess 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but we will guess what's in the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give it a go. So you were going to say who? The Flashy Gang?
I think the Flashy Gang.
I wanted to say that too.
Yeah. And I do think there is still a continuing interest in some of the Limerick stories, some of the stories to do with the Dundon McCarthy gang. So I'm going to go for...
Don't nod at him.
I'm going to go for those 3.
Okay, now hold on. You can nod at me though if I'm on the wrong level. I might say that. So what about the lady from the north who is a gang leader, Whitney? No, I'm not going to say that, Clodagh.
No, you're trying to read.
Are you trying to read my body language?
Yeah. Maybe Brandon Ledwith. Which? No. Okay, let me try again. Well, can I say then that more of the Regency stuff?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that was good. That's 1.
Well,
Wait. I'm going to go again.
Yeah.
You're getting there. On YouTube, our top videos were...
See, she's already looked them up there.
I haven't looked them up. I'm not a cheater.
I'll tell you now. The top videos on YouTube have been The Life and Crimes of Border Fox Desi O'Hare, Conor McGregor and his childhood friendships with the Kinahan.
Oh yeah, we should have thought of Conor McGregor.
And then the one we did very recently on 6 Silent Killings, the documentary on Larry Murphy. So that's in the top 3 again, The Return of the Dundons.
Yeah.
Monk Coach Walks Free, a year on for the Kinahan's sanctions.
Yeah.
More Hutch, the second coming of Gangland boss, Brian
Rattigan, yeah.
Yeah, Freddie Scappaticci, and then 10th, Mr. Flashy and Dublin's Dirty Gang. 4.
So overall, though, on
that's
in the audio. Then what's that?
The audio. So our top 10 was, of course, Jerry the Monk Coach Walks Free after the Regency murder trial. The second one was the Hutch Gang and the Dirty Dozen behind the Regency hit.
Okay.
The third one is Story of Jerry the Monk Coach Part 1.
Right.
The fourth most popular is the Regency Fallout and the 1 Million Bounty and the Republican Spy. 5, Conor McGregor and the childhood friendships with the Irish gangland figures. 6, the second coming of gangland rat Brian King Rat Rattigan. Number 7, the return of the Dundons and the secret property portfolio of Kinahan mobster Ross Browning. Number 8 then was probably one of my favourite episodes we did this year, which is the real life stories behind Ireland's narco boom, where we had 2 former drug users on the show talking about Dublin narcos.
Yeah.
Number 9, probably one of Nicola's favourite topics, Liam Byrne's arrest and the Garda's Encro chat failings.
Oh, yes. Oh, and I'm so glad that's there.
And 10, another one of your favourite friends, Marcus Sweeney, the Celtic Tiger playboy who became a target for the Criminal Assets Bureau.
Oh, I made him.
He probably made
him. I made the BBC, yeah.
Marcus Sweeney. Yeah. Imagine he got to the top 10.
So
yeah.
That's interesting. Well, obviously, the Regency, the analysis around it then, and I suppose breaking that down, maybe was of interest to people, taking different parts of it and kind of discussing it at length to sort of explain things that came up in the trial. It's interesting now that what was it called? The Dirty Dozen or something behind
the Hutch Gang and the Dirty Dozen behind the Regency hit.
Yeah, because what we did with that one from memory was we were able to put together the bits of evidence that had come out during the trial and to name as many of the Regency
because a lot of
team as we could.
Yeah, there was a lot of names mentioned that were part of other people's statements, basically, and some of these people have since passed away anyway.
Yeah.
For example, like Eddie Hutch, who was named the various statements. So, it shows that that trial, while it was great copy, if you want, but it also had a kind of an overall importance, I think, didn't it? In terms of, not just in terms of gangland, but it was an interesting trial. And even the verdict was a notable moment, wasn't it? For somebody coming before the Special Criminal Court. I think there is a enduring interest in the operation of the Special Criminal Court. And I think covering it like almost on a daily basis, it did kind of stand that test from us, didn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that verdict really upheld the Special Criminal Court as what it is. I mean, there would have been, I think, had there been a guilty verdict with the evidence that we heard, I think there would have been outrage and there would have been political calls for the disbandment of the Special Criminal Court. And, I actually do think it upheld the integrity of the court.
Yes, and I think as well, it posed a lot of, obviously Jonathan Dowdall, you hear the Hutch trial, but in large part it was the Jonathan Dowdall trial as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jonathan Dowdall, an amazing character, if you want, as well, to emerge from that whole process. But I do think the trial and the extensive coverage of it shines a bit of light on what is something that we're going to arguably see more of, which is people, protected witnesses, I suppose. But I think that covering the trial in great detail shines a bit of light on what has to be done there and how that operates and what regulations and structures need to be put in place. Obviously, this is something you've written about for years, but by being able to cover that in great detail, I think that is the public interest in what we did, is it?
It is, and I think also from the trial, and we did discuss it and analysed it quite a lot as well, was that whole Regency thing seemed to have happened at a pivot point in the Irish underworld, especially the power of the paramilitaries, and where were the IRA and the fact that the criminals who would have been sort of responsible for it were sending Jerry Hutch to represent them in an effort for the IRA to be brought in as peacekeepers with the Kinahans. When you think about it now, considering the last couple of podcasts we've done in relation to the Kinahans, did those, the Hutch gang that went up against them have a clue what they were dealing with?
Yeah.
Because in the same way I said to you recently, did the Europol know what they were dealing with during Operation Shovel in 2010? Did the Hutch gang actually realise they were dealing with people who had the ability and the future kind of ability to mix with regimes in Russia and Iran?
No. And if you look, of course, back at the role of the paramilitaries in the Regency, our country has been, for hundreds of years, the sense of armed insurrection over the national question has been there, if you know what I mean. That has certainly from the birth of the state in 1921 or whatever, like that has been the national question. I mean, that's what we called it, isn't it? The national question. And like in a funny way, is the Regency the sort of the death knell in the idea that armed groups are going to, have a role in trying to bring that about. I know the political process towards the United Ireland is going to continue on, and Sinn Féin are stronger than ever, but that's all by political means. I think the Regency trial brings an end to the idea that the IRA in its modern form are ever going to threaten the state. But yeah, it was fascinating. It's been the fact is, of course, that is going to be us next year, isn't it? The Kinahan cartel and what's going to happen.
That could be next year's big trial. I don't think next year maybe, but certainly the process of, I think, predict as much as I can, but I think there's confidence that EPP is going to come back with charges for them, right?
Yeah.
So then they're actually going to be wanted here, because currently they're not.
Yeah.
And I think Helen McEntee and the movements that have happened with Drew Harris going out and posing for that weird video with the Dubai police and all the rest of it, I think that is all preempting the fact that there is a belief there's going to be charges here, and they're hoping to get them back. Will they be still there?
Yeah,
is the big question. Or will they have enough? They've corrupted everywhere they've lived. They have had contacts within police forces everywhere. So it's not to just say that it's going to be in Dubai. Will they be tipped off when they're coming for them, and will they be gone to Russia?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility.
It is a possibility.
It would, if I had said that to you last year or the year before, you would have thought I was completely
bonkers.
Go get your head tested stuff. But that is the possibility now. We're racing against the clock. And then let's say, in the other hand, they are still there and the Emirates give them back and they come back here to the Special Criminal Court and stand trial. What the hell is that going to look like?
Yeah, it's going to be.
I mean, you're going to have international media from everywhere. Those special criminal courts are small.
Yeah.
They're teeny weeny. Like you don't have space, the security around the court. What's that going to be like?
Yeah, because they have become like the days, Clodagh, before you joined the Sunday World, like we were, alone for naming the Kinahans for a good while, weren't we? Like, I mean, it was a good long time. But now you Google Daniel Kinahan and you'll see articles. Obviously, the Financial Times are doing a podcast at the moment, all over the time, the London Times, BBC, you name it.
Yeah.
They're everywhere and they're routinely named now in AI sites that write, that pick up world's most dangerous drug gangs. AI will churn out a bit on Daniel and Christie Senior. So it would be a huge, huge trial if they came back. And then if they're ever put in prison, I mean, that would be chaotic.
And I mean, when I think about it, 10 years ago, I was knocking on his door out in Spain, approaching him, Daniel Kinahan, Christie Kinahan.
But sure, 6 years ago, he was tweeting every day and putting up pictures of himself or whatever.
Yeah. How many years ago was he representing Tyson Fury?
Three
years ago?
And he was routinely appearing in boxing rings, like not just at boxing fights, but standing in the ring with fighters, who would embrace him and praise him publicly. So it's amazing how quickly things change. For all of the Crime World podcasts, is there a new generation coming now, Nicola, you think? Of criminals? Are things changing?
I'd say the next Daniel Kinahan is already out there.
Yeah.
Forging his way, through violence and intimidation to the top of a gang.
Yeah. Ambition
is there in its droves. There's so many more kids going into gangs, into the drug dealing business now that, there's going to be more of these very unusual characters who are standout and strong. And they're probably not unlike characters you meet in politics and business and all the rest of it. They've just gone a different way.
Yeah.
And there's more violence obviously in that world, but it's that cutthroatness, that whole lack of empathy with anybody else, that ambition, that driving greed. And you do see that in boardrooms.
Yeah.
And in politics and...
Yeah, I mean that look, it's a problem of society now. The drug problem is a society-wide problem. It's not a problem that's located in the hands of a few bad eggs. Like we have a cocaine problem as a country, don't we? And we can step outside and you see it on Talbot Street. Obviously, it's a problem. But is it a problem we're closer to solving?
Probably not. No,
definitely not. But you just got to keep putting it out there. I mean, we're able to make the connections and tell about the connections between the shooting out in Coolock and the funding of Hezbollah. So we just keep doing it, and you hope eventually that it will get through a little bit. To some people, you're never going to change the bloody world.
No.
But just educating, or passing on knowledge.
Yeah.
Maybe it might stop a few. I don't know.
Yeah. So are you going to be nicer to me in the new year?
No.
No New Year's resolutions. 3 lives of Niall.
No.
No, he loves it.
No, I don't.
He does. Yeah, he does.
No.
He does.
You should be extra nice to me, Clodagh, to make up for Nicola's cruelty.
Just put on your glasses for a second. For the viewers on YouTube.
This won't work as well, obviously.
It won't work as well if you're just listening. Now.
Look down that camera
And
there.
do you see the way you can't manage to put them down over your ears? Okay. So now, Clodagh, right? He tells us that people have told him he looks like George Clooney in those glasses.
No, well,
in the glasses specifically,
just in general. It's
okay.
No, so I met some friends and they said your hair's gotten very grey, and I said, yeah, like George Clooney. They said,
put them back on for 1 second.
It's not.
I want to show Clodagh something. Okay.
Would you go and show the camera?
What are you saying, that camera?
Where will I point it?
It's that camera straight ahead.
Where? Clodagh? You know, I can't work out where the cameras are. Can they see?
Yeah, we can overlay a picture.
For anyone who's not on YouTube in their sitting room watching their telly, I've just shown the cameras a picture of the old man from the Up cartoon. So if you just want to have a look at that.
It's actually a really good film.
It's a really good film, but it's an uncanny likeness with the glasses. The woman in Specsavers picked them for him.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did you just, I can't see you standing there picking out glasses.
No, I got a bit I got a bit, I'll just, you can
just take those.
I'll just buy them. Whatever ones.
Anyway, you're lovely in them.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Of course, we won our award as well.
Yeah. We did.
We never told anyone about that, did we?
We told a few people.
Did we?
And we had the shows were great, weren't they? Like they were.
Shows were great.
We had 2 live shows.
Yeah.
No, 1 live show, and then you had.
We did. Yeah. So we had the Sunday World 50th.
Yeah.
Live show, and we had Omerta in April. Was it?
In
April?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And next year we have Cocaine Cowboys in February and April.
Yeah.
So yeah, and are we going to do another
busy year ahead? Well, we've got so far the only thing I have in my diary for January is Graham Dwyer's appeal.
Oh right,
so,
okay, yeah.
Starting the year with a bang.
Another baddie.
Yeah. Another
baddie.
Another bad.
There's a lot of baddies.
There's probably not a lot, but there are some, isn't there? Like and people like Graham Dwyer. Yeah, Graham Dwyer is a horrific case, and it's. I suppose these things stick out, don't they? Some of them, and obviously no longer be similar, where these people seem to spring out of nowhere, but the ripples of harm and the horrible nature of their crimes really sticks with you. So,
what about any of the comments?
Our YouTube comments, should I pull some out?
Well, only,
I don't know.
I'll look back through the last the last couple.
Some of them are funny. I like the funny ones.
Yeah.
Some of them are funny. Some of them are mean.
Some of them are very mean.
Well,
yeah. We just have to ignore those sort of people.
But we do have some very nice people who will always defend us.
Yeah.
And give comments and say thank you very much for a nice episode.
Yeah, I like when they do that. It's nice.
They're
positive
lovely.
criticism.
it's only good stuff.
Let me see.
I have a great attitude though. These really meanies and they put something really mean. I just laugh at them.
Do you?
Yeah. I think how pathetic. Imagine I have ideas of them sitting alone in their house, with nothing but their cat for company.
Nothing wrong with cats, by the way.
My dog got did I tell you this?
No.
Dog face coat.
Oh.
Yeah. He looks ridiculous. He looks like a thug in it actually.
Yeah.
And he also got, and I bought him this, which is really telling, a Barber jacket.
Oh.
He's handsome in that.
Yeah.
So it goes from thug to handsome.
Yeah.
He's very tiny.
Yeah, very tiny.
Very tiny little boy. So our first nice comment. Nicola has a lovely Irish personality and fun side. She is also a lovely girl. We all love her.
A lovely girl. At least he said girl.
Yeah.
Some people still consider that.
Love your show, guys. Always very, very interesting.
Oh.
There's always
see how much she has to scroll to find the nice.
Yeah.
No, the shows were great though, weren't they? And that was really, it was really.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, it was a really novel experience, and it's.
Have you done your homework?
I haven't, but I have done.
I am going to torture you.
Yeah, no, I will.
It's somebody. He's sitting back there pretending he's all calm, and then he'd be going on stage, and he will. Clodagh, he nearly falls asleep out of nervousness.
Yeah. So
it's like as if his blood sugar levels drop and he goes, I could just sleep.
It is to do with cortisol and all that. I'm sure
pacing up and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, can't sit down, just like a hen in a hot griddle. And he's looking to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's
I'm strolling a long time here looking for it. Niall mentioned a very funny one earlier about you on your motorbike. I thought it was brilliant.
Don't know where that is.
I don't know where it's gone.
Anyway, we don't.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We don't pay attention.
We only pay attention to the nice ones.
Yeah.
And what about reviews? Do people still leave reviews or do they forget about us on that?
No, people still leave us reviews, but if you haven't done so yet, you can do so on Apple Podcasts. We're always delighted to hear back from people. And
exactly. We like a bit of feedback.
Yeah.
And, we can see the feedback, I suppose, in a way from the figures and from those top episodes we just spoke about. But we will pour over everything that we have collated and that you've collated and have a look at what's popular and in the end of the day, everything is listened to. And some of the stuff is just a little bit more bespoke.
Yeah.
That
No, I mean, there's been some great episodes. Like, I really enjoyed doing the episode with Brian Hanley, Professor Brian Hanley, on the IRA.
I listened to that in the car. I really liked it.
And some of the episodes with the North have been really interesting, haven't they? Well,
that's my absolute plan, is to grow the North, because I think there's a huge audience up there. I think there's a huge amount of stories up there.
Yeah.
And I think we need to kind of be doing more of them on a regular basis. So as people listening in the North who are interested in Northern crime stuff know every week they can come and there'll be something there for them that isn't kind of maybe Dublin or Southern based.
Yeah, but it's also, I think it's interesting what happened in the North, like in terms of how the British state functioned.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, it throws up issues for policing and for the justice system because it became... because it became...
Desperately looking for something funny.
But just because it became so corrupt, and you can see the worst of what can happen in the criminal justice system because of all how they handled informers, how they allowed crimes to go ahead, and, you know, the interaction they had with some of the paramilitary groups, you know.
Well, I'm going on holidays, so let's hope that doesn't mean all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
Probably will get the Kinahans on the way home.
But we're gonna repost over the Christmas some of the stuff that is real, you know, walking or time off stuff.
Yeah.
And there'll be plenty there for anybody who pops on that you may not have heard before, or you may want to listen again.
Yeah.
And we, of course, appreciate all our listeners.
We really do.
So thank you and happy Christmas to you all. And we'll be back in the new year.
Back in the new year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Nicola Tallant, and you're watching Crime World, a podcast about criminals, drugs and the underworld in Ireland and across the globe. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can be the first to watch all our latest episodes. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts.